Welcome back, friends. I'm Kevin, and thanks for joining me. In this video, we are drawing a ramen robot. And to do this, we'll start off with the shape of his body being one of those instant ramen cups. We'll add shapes for his arms and his legs. With an open top, we'll add some typical ramen toppings like a soft-boiled egg and a shrimp. I don't like this shrimp. Let's make another one where the head is hanging out of the cup. There, much better. We'll go ahead and add some dumpling knees. Next, let's draw a hand where he's holding seaweed like charged up poker cards. This hand took some finessing on my part. Hands are one of the harder things to draw, so keep practicing with them. Add some robot feet to some robot toes, and let's go with more conventional robot knees. Now what's a cup of ramen if there are no noodles? Let's add those in at the top. We're adding some dumplings back in, and let's give the shrimp a silly face. We're using bamboo shoots as armor, kind of like what a samurai would have. The armor, not the bamboo shoots. We're adding in some seasoning packets to boost his flavor power. Some more packets on his other arm. We got chicken, beef stew, seafood, and roast pork. Here I'm refining more details to his toes and his feet. Now, we need to conceptualize his face and body details. But I ended up not liking this. I decided I didn't want his face hidden behind a mask. Plus, I think he could look a bit friendlier. Right now, it's just too much of a magnetic mutant vibe. There, that's better. We'll add some extra lines to help frame his face and to also help connect it to the actual cup. Now we move on to his arm cannon, where he stores his packets of seasoning power. His main tank is inside of his body, so he'll need a hose to bring out the sauce. Now I'm just adding more details where it feels like it needs something. You can do the same. Remember, this is your robot, and you can draw him any way you like. Let's get rid of some seasoning packets since we have some on the other arm, and update this arm cannon to have the world's spiciest sriracha sauce. Now let's not be confused with the other hot sauce with a chicken on it. I'm adding 2 fish cakes because what bowl of ramen doesn't have those? Now with the sketch done, we can start inking and add in the line art. We will basically go over our sketch lines. What I'd like to do is use thicker lines to help define the bigger, more dominant shapes, and then use thinner lines to help define the finer details. Always think about the hierarchy when you're doing your inking and figuring out what's the most important and what's the least important, and what should be in the foreground as opposed to what should be in the background. here comes the fun part that helps bring the character to life, coloring. We'll be using more color than usual because I wanted to add as much fun as possible. And I wanted his face to feel like a screen with a soft green glow. And the dumplings be dumpling colors. I chose a dark gray for most of his robotic parts. Let's take a moment and figure out what the base colors are going to be. I kept the white cup with gold and red accents because it was inspired by one of the most popular brands of noodles. His green eyes reflect his mojo influence, and some more hatching going on. Some things are a certain color, so those are easier to figure out. Then when it comes to the rest of the robot, we can use our imagination and figure out what color combinations we like. Ooh, just look at that spicy sriracha cannon. With color, now it looks super spicy. Color in a beautiful soft-boiled egg. And let's make the ramen fresh with some of their color. This robot's got some special mojo juice inside. Some crispy seaweed, charged up and ready to go. Let's add some more gold details to the body and to the hand. Let's just go ahead and finish coloring the rest of the details and accents. We'll go silver for the packets, brown for beef stew, and yellow for the chicken. We'll add some green for these mojo-filled capsules, and finish off the gold on the feet of the robot. In the end, I decided on a bright white robot with Carolina blue and gold accents. Now, it's on to the shading and highlights. This stuff helps give the character more dimension, to help it really feel alive. Think about where the light is coming from, and what's more hidden in the shadows. Then we think about where the light actually hits and bounces off. If it's a strong light, it would be a stark contrast of light or white. If it's a softer light source, it would just reflect a little bit of glimmer off of the top. Let's watch as we continue to shade in the rest of the robot in all the nooks and crannies and little crevices that it has. Take your time in this process, because this step is where you help really define the dimension and the depth of the character. This time, after I did some shading, I decided to add hatching. What is hatching? Well, this is a method of using lines to create shaded areas in line art. It's found much more commonly in comic art, but here I'm using it to help accentuate the shaded areas more. Doing this well would help the character pop off the page. At first glance, hatching may seem pretty straightforward and simple, but it's actually a very complicated process to get right. One of the main things is to try not to overdo it. And as you advance more in this process, there's another level called cross-hatching. As you can see, I'm still trying to get better at this myself, and I do that through practice each time and every day. Maybe we can get better at hatching together as we do more of these Let's Draw Together videos. We'll continue adding hatching to all the areas where the shadows are. Now, let's finish up by creating more impact. We'll add a thicker outline to help separate the robot even more from the background, and then add some finishing effects. You don't want to overdo it with the effects, you just want enough where it adds to it rather than take away. And there we have it. Great job, guys! Thanks for joining me to create our robot. If you've watched this far, type ramen in the comments so I know that you're a true supporter. What's your favorite food that you'd turn into a robot? Please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to know when we have a new video to share with you. We'll see you on the next one.